All right, what's up, guys? Today we got another one. Again, my name is Adam Yoder. If you guys don't know me already, I own a final expense agency. I'm a partner in a marketing agency that provides inbound calls for final expense to agencies. And today we're going to be going over a new AI tool that I just beta tested for my own agency called Kendo.ai. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Kendo, Kendo is an AI powered sales trainer that's made specifically for people that do things like high ticket sales, inbound call centers, really anything that involves a virtual sale. Kendo was created by Luke Alexander. If you guys aren't familiar, he's very popular in the online sales space. He's one of the most well respected names. And I've followed him on social media for a little while now, and I've gotten to know him a little bit from there. And I've seen the progress that he's made on Kendo, and I wanted to beta test it just to see how it would fare with something like Final Expense. Now, I have tried some AI sales training tools in the past, but most of them just kind of sucked. Just to give you guys a little foreshadowing, I did test Kendo a little bit before I recorded this, and it's fire. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. I'm going to actually take a call and handle some objections with Kendo. That way you guys can see what it's like and then test it for yourself. There will be a link for that once I'm actually done showing you guys how to do that. So stay tuned for that. All right, so first things first, we're going to start out by hopping right into Kendo. So once you go onto the website and then create an account, it's going to bring you into this really nice display here. It's got a very nice user interface, way better than anything that I've used before when it comes to actual AI sales training. So what we're going to start off by doing is creating a new prospect. So I do have a few call recordings, but I'm not going to upload them here. But in this case, because we're training on final expense, we're going to click business to consumer. And then we'll just type in Mary, age. We're going to make her a little bit older just to fit the typical final expense client. And for description, Mary is a senior on a fixed income. She is concerned on how she will be able to pay for funeral expenses and is considering getting a final expense policy to cover her funeral expenses. All right, perfect. Okay, occupation, retired, monthly income, we'll say she's between 0 to 3,000 a month. Common objections, too expensive, need to consult spouse partner, not the right time. Okay. We're going to set this as a closing call. All right, so right now we're just creating the prospect. Okay, perfect. All right. Now, when we actually get in here, they give us 10 free minutes of training. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start this session with the prospect that we just created. And right now, we're just going to click standard. We're not going to go crazy with any objections just yet. And then what we're going to do is click start sales training.
Hello, this is Mary. I know you're hoping to finalize things today, but I need to make sure this is the right decision for us.
Yeah, not a problem. And yeah,
All right.
before we even get that far, was there something that you were concerned about or needed me to explain or go over?
Well, I just want to be sure I really understand how this would work, especially what the monthly payment would be and if that could ever go up on me. So I'm on a fixed income, so I can't really handle surprises,
Right.
And
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good concern because these plans are called whole life plans, so they cover you for your whole life. The payments are always fixed because the carriers understand that, the target client here is going to be people that are on fixed income or social security, so those payments are always going to be fixed, so you don't have to worry about that. And the good news is you also don't have to pay for the plan until you actually receive your social security. So we can set the payment date if it makes sense for you guys after you receive your social security. That way you can budget everything out and make sure that it's going to fit comfortably within that.
okay, that does help a bit. I just, well, I need to see exactly what the monthly payment would come out to, and I'd want to make sure there aren't any little fees or anything hidden. I really can't stretch things much, so I have to be careful.
Of course.
And
Yeah, for the
okay,
plan
that
that
does.
we went over, yeah, sorry, for the plan that we went over, it would come out to $50 a month. Is that something that'd be comfortable with your monthly budget? Because we can go down with the coverage amount to get a lower monthly payment if need be.
$50 is honestly a lot for me with what I have coming in. I mean, I want to make sure my funeral is covered, but I also have to keep the lights on, you know? If there's a way to go lower, maybe even just a little bit, could you show me what that would look like? And um, I'd still need to talk this over with my husband before I do anything.
Of course. Well, first of all, were you wanting to have a burial done or a cremation? Because if you want to have a burial, we'll want to make sure that we at least have enough coverage to make sure that that's taken care of. But if you're fine with having a cremation, we can go lower and look at more flexible payment options.
Honestly, I'm not picky. I just don't want my kids to have to worry about it or pay out of pocket. Cremation would be fine if it keeps things more affordable. I just want something simple, nothing fancy. So, what would the payment look like for a plan that just covers a basic cremation? And again, I'd need to see if my husband's all right with it, but I'm just trying to get a sense of what's possible.
Yeah. So the burial plan that we went over would come out to $50 a month. The cremation would be $25 a month. And
Okay,
then
25.
yeah, and we can keep going down a little bit more because sometimes cremations are, only about 3,000. I was basing that off a $5,000 coverage amount.
Oh, I see. Well, if it could go even a little lower, that might help. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I'm not. All right, that makes sense. I mean, if we could go even a little lower, that would honestly help me breathe easier each month. Like I said, every penny counts for us right now. Would the payment ever go up, or is it always locked in? And I really will need to talk to my husband before I do anything, just so you know.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, with the monthly payment that we went over, the $25 would be for the $5,000 benefit amount. If we go with the $3,000 benefit amount, that would come out to a monthly fixed payment of $15 a month fixed. Is that something that's more
Oh,
comfortable with your budget?
that's definitely a lot more manageable, yes. $15 a month is something I could probably do without stressing too much. Just to double check, there's no chance that payment would ever go up on me, right?
Right.
And okay, just making sure. I know sometimes things sound good at first, but then the fine print gets you. I just want to be careful. And like I said, I really want to talk it over with my husband tonight before I make any decisions. Would it be all right if I gave you a call back tomorrow after we've had a chance to chat?
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem. One thing that I will say though is that these plans are based off of your age. So It's not a problem if you want to talk it over with your husband, because obviously he would need to be involved with this because, he's on Social Security as well with you. But what I'll do is I'll at least see if we're able to get you approved. And then if we are, whenever you guys receive your Social Security, we can set up the billing date for then. So if that's on the 1st of September, that'll give you guys more than a day, actually. That'll give you guys about 2 weeks. That way you guys can make sure that it's going to fit comfortable with your budget, because that's going to be the most important thing. It's just making sure that you guys can afford it on a monthly basis. So, does that make
I
sense?
appreciate, yes, that does make sense. I appreciate you explaining it in plain terms. I just want to be sure we're not rushing into anything and that my husband's on board. If the payment really is locked in and there's no hidden fees, that helps me feel a little better about it. Let me talk it over with him tonight and I'll get back to you tomorrow. Does that sound all right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, that would not be a problem if you guys need to do that. It's got to be comfortable with the budget. That's the most important thing. But even more
Thank you.
so than that, we do have to make sure that you're able to get medically approved, because, this type of insurance isn't something that you can just, buy like you go to the grocery store and get it off the shelf. You do have to qualify for it. So let's go ahead and get the approval done. That way we can make sure that you guys are able to get approved for it medically. And then from there, then we can set up another call if you guys feel like we need to. Does that work?
Hmm. Well, I understand you need to check if I qualify, but I really do want to talk to my husband first before we do anything official, even just the approval part. I hope that's all right. I just like to make sure we're both on the same page before I give out any information or start the process. Would you be able to hold the quote for me until tomorrow? That would help me feel a lot better about it.
Yeah, yeah, it's not something that's gonna, change overnight on us, so we don't have to worry about that. But um, that being said, usually when people say that, they're hesitant to at least even get approved, it's normally something to do with either the monthly payment, or they're just not sure about the actual plan itself. Is it one of those, or do you think, is there something else that is on your mind about that?
It's really just that I like to talk things over with him first, especially anything to do with money or giving out personal details. I'm not worried about the plan itself if the payment stays at $15 and nothing sneaky pops up later. It's just how we do things, you know? We always make these kinds of decisions together. I hope that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I respect that where you're coming from, but that's why we get the approval, so we can make sure that that quote is accurate. Because right now we're going based off of, you know, like best guesses, and because this is an important decision for you and your husband, we need to make
I
sure that
get
it's going to be accurate and also fit within your budget, because I don't want to tell you guys it's going to be this, and then we get the approval and then it comes back at this. Does that make sense?
Yes, I do understand that. And I just, well, I'm not comfortable moving forward with any approval or giving out my information until I've talked to him. That's just how I am, and I hope you can respect that. If the quote's not going to change overnight, I'd really rather wait and call you back tomorrow after we've had a chance to discuss it together. Is that all right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no problem with that. But is there like something that you're concerned with regarding the approval itself?
No, it's not the approval itself. I just don't like to do anything, even just paperwork, without my husband knowing. It's just how we handle things, especially with money being so tight. I really appreciate you being patient with me. I just want to make sure we're both comfortable before I move ahead.
Gotcha. If you don't mind me asking, is this the first time that you've ever like looked into these plans before, or has anybody ever like explained how they work?
No, this isn't the first time. I've looked into it a little before, but it always came down to the price not fitting our budget, or just not feeling sure about the timing. Sometimes people explain it in a way that sounds too good to be true, you know? I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything and that it's really as simple as you say fixed payment,
What do
no
you
hidden
mean?
fees.
Sorry for interrupting. What do you mean too good to be true?
Oh, I just mean sometimes people make it sound like you get a lot for hardly anything, or they promise you'll never have to worry about a thing, but then there's always a catch in the fine print, like the payment goes up or there's a waiting period, or something isn't covered like you thought. I just want to be sure it's really as straightforward as you're saying because I can't afford any surprises.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. So when you guys got that quote last time, was there a waiting period on that plan?
I think there was actually. They said something about having to wait 2 years before the full amount would pay out if something happened. That made me a little uneasy, to be honest. Is that how your plan works too, or is it different?
Yeah, good question. So the truth is we don't really know yet until we get the approval because we work with a lot of different carriers and we don't work specifically for one of them. So, our goal is just to find the lowest price carrier that's going to approve you with the terms that
Right.
you want, right? Because obviously, if you guys had a 2-year wait, that's not something that would make sense for you guys, and which is completely understandable. So, like I said before, the most important thing is making sure that we are able to get the approval. That way we can figure out more of those details about like what the terms are, what the actual monthly payment's going to be, if there's going to be a 2-year wait. So like I said, if you want to think about it, it's not a problem. But what I would recommend is seeing at least if we can get the approval completed for you. That way you've got something to take back to your husband that you know that you're actually going to qualify for.
I understand where you're coming from, but I just can't do it without talking to him first. I know it might slow things down, but that's just how we make decisions, especially with something this important. If it's all right, I'd rather wait and call you back tomorrow after we've had a chance to go over everything together. That way, if he has questions, we can both be on the same page.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, that wouldn't be a problem for me because I work with so many clients that it's neither here nor there. But like I said, if the 2-year waiting period is the biggest concern, I'll be able to tell you that within the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. And then, from there, if it's not something that you guys like, I'm not gonna expect you guys to go through with the plan, obviously. But like I said, right now, the most important thing is just making sure that we can at least get the approval done.
I really do appreciate you trying to help, but I just can't move ahead without my husband. Even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, I'd feel better waiting until we're both ready and can ask questions together. Let's plan to talk tomorrow, if that's all right. I just want to make sure we're both comfortable before taking any steps.
Yeah, gotcha. So yeah, we
Thank
can
you
do
for
that.
understanding.
Yeah, that's not a
All
problem.
right. All
What
right. Thank
time?
you for under.
What time tomorrow would work for you guys? What time are you guys? Well, let me check my calendar actually. So it looks like I'm available between 5 and 6. Would 5:30 work for you guys?
Yes, 5:30 tomorrow should work just fine. That'll give me time to talk things over with him and make sure we're both on the same page. Thank you for being patient with me. I just want to do this the right way. I'll talk to you then, all right?
Gotcha. All right, perfect. And then one more thing too. So, when we do talk tomorrow, what specifically would you guys want me to cover with you guys?
Mostly, I just want to make sure we understand exactly what the payment will be, if there's any waiting period, and that the payment can't ever go up. And if you could just walk us through how the process works step by step, that would help us feel a lot better. We just want to be sure there aren't any surprises.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, the biggest surprise would come after the approval. So, you know, again, what I would say is let's go ahead and get the approval done, and then when we get the approval back, we can call back tomorrow at 5:30 just like we scheduled, and then we'll be able to go over everything then. Does that work for you?
I really do appreciate you trying to make it easy, but I'd still rather wait until I've talked to my husband before we do anything, even just the approval. So I hope that's okay. Let's stick with our call at 5:30 tomorrow and we can go over everything then once we've had a chance to talk it through together. That's just how I feel most comfortable.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you for understanding. I'll talk to my husband tonight and we'll be ready to chat with you tomorrow at 5:30. Have a good evening and I appreciate you being patient with me.
All right, sounds good.
All right then.
I mean, as you guys can see, that lady was good. She wasn't budging at all. I don't know if there's actually even a way that you can like overcome the objection, but yeah, she was good, bro. She was really good. There wasn't really much else I could do on that, but you know, for a sales team, this would be fire. Like I said, I've tested it a little bit myself, and then I've also tested it with a few other people that sell final expense, and they all like it pretty well. So I think what I'm gonna do is implement this and give it to some of my agents, and then have them start practicing on this because this would be able to drop CPAs at least by like 25%. Like if we're at like a 250 CPA, this would probably get us to like a 200 across the board because the as you guys saw, that lady's sharp. She's tough, bro. She's tough, so it's good practice. So yeah, I definitely think that this is something that would be able to help us out a lot. So we're probably gonna implement it more in what we do, and bro, hopefully even work it into my Discord. I don't know if there's a way that I can put it in Discord yet, but definitely offer it to them. So cool. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna peace out for tonight. I don't know why it's so yellow. I need to fix my. Oh, here we go. There we go. Now I'm not so yellow. So, anyways, guys, like as you can see, that was good. I'm definitely have to start implementing that more into what I do, giving it to people and help them get trained with that because there's a lot of potential there, a lot of potential. Because the problem is, I want to train people, but I don't have the time to do it, and sometimes I'm not the most efficient at it either. Like, there's some things where, like, I just can't be on the phone with somebody all the time. So something like this would come in really handy. So, like I said, guys, appreciate you guys watching this. Again, go check out Kendo.ai by Luke Alexander. Fire program. Like I said, I've used a lot of different AI sales trainers. This is the best one by far, not even close. So, and I know Luke, and he's very hard working with this, and he's very, um, what's the word I'm looking for? He's very focused on this alone. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's going to do great things with it in the future. So, he's always very quick to implement new changes in it as well. So, looks good. All right, guys, have a good one. Peace.